Hi everyone, welcome to Criminology. As we reach the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year, I wanted to do a look back over the year so far and talk about my 5 favourite crime and horror books so far in 2021. So I'm going to present these in no particular order, so no favouritism there, partly because I couldn't really make up my mind as to which one I liked the most. So without further ado, the first book is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I've done a video review of this, which I will link to. It's just a really entertaining, surprisingly well written. I say surprisingly because it's Tarantino's first novel. But yeah, a very well written adaptation of his movie. It was far better than I expected. There's a lot of significant differences from the film. Whilst it has essentially the same characters and the same story, the emphasis is very different, and that worked brilliantly. I think it's a really good companion to the film. So if you're a fan of the movie, well worth checking out. Book number 2 is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, and again I've done a video review of this one, so I will link to that. So it's a really good, solid horror novel. I have to say I have seen mixed reviews of it, so not everyone seems to love it as much as I did, although lots of people do, but for me it worked perfectly. So it's a great blend of coming of age story, kind of slasher horror, and also a critique of the slasher genre. So about a young Native American girl growing up in small town America who realises that there is a kind of dastardly plot going on in her town, and works with a girl who's newly arrived in the town to try and get to the bottom of it, and save future victims from the slasher that's going around the town. Really entertaining and a really solid read with a very memorable heroine. Book number 3 is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. So I read and absolutely loved Cosby's novel Blacktop Wasteland last year. Razorblade Tears is just as good, if not slightly better. So it's the story of two fathers, one black, one white, who come together when their sons, who were married, are murdered, and work together to get to the bottom of that crime. Really entertaining, really exciting. It's got some great action sequences, some great humour, and real heart as well. I absolutely loved it. So book 4 is When Things Get Dark, edited by Ellen Datlow. So this is a short story collection of stories by modern authors, written in the style of and in tribute to Shirley Jackson. So Shirley Jackson's one of my favourite short story writers, so I was really keen to get my hands on this book. Titan Books very kindly sent me a review copy, and I absolutely loved it. In fact, I liked it so much that I've lent the hardback copy I've got to my sister, which is why I haven't got it to show you today. But yes, it's a fantastic collection of short stories. If you don't know Jackson, she wrote kind of, well, crime and horror stories, often with a twist at the end, just all beautifully written, her stories. And this collection really does, does her proud, I think. So the atmosphere in all of them is spot on. You've got some great authors in there, like Paul Tremblay, Josh Malerman, Joyce Carol Oates. And they pretty much all do a great job. I really, really enjoyed it as a collection. It was a 5-star read for me. Not all the stories are 5-star stories, but overall the collection works brilliantly. Book number 5 is The Turnout by Megan Abbott. So this is it's a kind of classic noir story set in a ballet school. So that setting works fantastically for it, and it's about this weird triangle of kind of passion and intrigue between the 3 people who run the ballet school. So 2 sisters and a guy who's married to one of the sisters. So it's about that and what happens to a contractor who's doing some work on the school for them. So there's loads of twists and turns. It's a great slow build of a book. So the first half or so kind of gradually builds the suspense and mystery, and in the second half it really kicks into gear, and it's like twist after twist after twist. really atmospheric, really gripping. I absolutely loved it. I really like Megan Abbott's work, and I think this is another great novel from her. So I promised to list my 5 favourite crime and horror books so far this year. So we are coming up to midway through October, so I thought it was a good point in the year to do that. When we get to the end of the year, I will see if my opinions have changed, if I read anything else that wows me even more than those 5 books. What I also wanted to do was throw in this honourable mention, I guess, so Ten Low by Stark Holborn, which is neither a crime nor a horror book. This is a kind of sci-fi western, I guess. Holborn specialises, if you don't know her, specialises in westerns. So wrote a great series of novellas called Nun Slinger, about a nun kind of shooting her way through the Old West. And she's also done a couple of novellas in a new series called Trigonometry, which are about mathematicians who are also gunfighters, which are a lot of fun. So Ten Low is about a medic who's kind of marooned in the desert on this strange planet, and ends up hooking up with a kind of a weird, genius, childlike character. I won't give too much away. It kind of feels like a cross between The Mandalorian and the Becky Chambers Wayfarers books. So it's got real heart. It's really exciting and gripping as well, and a really nicely imagined world. So I enjoyed it so much, even though it's not crime or horror, I thought I'd throw it in there today as well. I hope you've enjoyed that selection. If you've read any of the books I've mentioned, please do shout. If there's something published in 2021 in the crime or horror genres that you think I've missed, that you think I'd enjoy, then please also leave a mention of that in the comments. If you're not already a subscriber and you like the kind of stuff I'm posting about, then do subscribe, and I hope to see you again in a future video.